center, any movement at all or anything going on? Why is it that we were so close on getting the liquor store sold and it didn't happen? What is the reason?
Well, again, if I can go back in time, the muni was never going to be sold.
Well,
We were going to lease it,
Yeah.
with an option to buy it at some point in the future. For whatever reason, the co-op has decided not to go in that direction. I've heard several reasons. One, it may not be big enough long-term. They're also concerned about the amount of money that they've spent in their existing facility. And in fact, they just pulled a building permit to add more office space in their existing headquarters building. And so they've decided to stay where they are. What's going to happen with that building now, I don't know. I have a couple of thoughts, running those through the EDA. And I guess we'll see where those
Okay, then
things
getting
go.
on to the community center up there, what's, anything happening there?
No, not from a standpoint of, we had someone who was at the point of writing up the contract, and he decided not to move his company here. And so, at the time, we had applied for a grant and had received a grant from USDA to build an incubator in that building. When the buyer came, we decided to stop that process. We told the USDA that we no longer wanted the grants. We turned that back in. Now the EDA is starting to investigate that again. There's a new incubator that opened up in Pine City. It's called the Pine Innovative Center. It's along with their community college. And so, following that model, which was funded quite a bit by the state, we want to go up and visit that facility and talk with Southeast Tech about a similar relationship in Rushford.
I've heard say that there's mold getting started in there. Is there anything to that?
I have not noticed it.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, I'm not sure who would tell you that. I don't know who else has been in the building.
I don't know either, but I heard that there was mold started.
Yeah, not that I've noticed. I don't know how there would be. There's no water in there.
Is there any heat at all in there?
Yep.
So what is it, the thermostatic controlled, or?
Yes, it's set at like 50 degrees for the floor.
So only the floor heat is on?
Right, there's like a, whatever, glycol solution or whatever that's in there.
So what's the thought on that? There's a thought on that building. It's deteriorating. But what I'm concerned about is we're not getting anything accomplished there.
Again, we had a grant, we were going to move forward with an incubator, and we stopped because we had a buyer. The buyer is now gone, so we're going back to that thought.
We've had a couple of starts and stop with the community center.
Those are just my suggestions. I mean, we can put that up for sale too and see what happens.
Well, yeah, could you re-interest that guy that was planning on moving down here? Giving him a deal or cutting some sort of a deal?
He was already getting a deal.
We were at less than half price.
Well, right now it's not making any money for the city.
True.
But if the incubator as a concept is viable, then we'll never build another incubator building as cheap as what that one is, really. I mean, it's a sunk cost already. So I mean,
That's true.
well, but it's, if that can be utilized to, in some fashion, to add value in other areas and develop new business ideas or new business entities in town, that might still be our best bet, long-term. I don't know. I think we have to give the EDA time to put their minds to work and see what they can accomplish with that. You know, it's disappointing. Certainly, I feel disappointed too that we didn't get, that the muni didn't go the way we had hoped, and that the community center didn't get sold to this other business. But those are decisions that are outside of our hands. We can't force people into these buildings, and we can't probably even give them away. If people aren't willing to take them, there's no sense in being.
So maybe what we ought to do is, let Dara list it. See what, we can always turn the amount down. Let them list it. See what they can do.
What's the name of
with it.
that pine, what was that called?
The Pine Innovation Center, I believe it's what it's called. Certainly we can list it. I think though if we list it, then EDA should just stop spending time and effort working on an incubator. Another thought that I had was that we would just give them, council can give them a certain amount of time and say, get it done, or we're gonna list it and see what else will happen. I mean, get them through the winter, and if nothing happens by late winter, early spring, then we put a for sale sign up and move it along. I wouldn't recommend trying to sell them muni right now, because we're still up in the air about deed and what we might have to pay back for that.
So, how much work have they done on the incubator? How far is it?
Well, again, we were at the point where we had submitted a plan to USDA, which they thought enough of that they were going to give us, I believe it was,
99,000?
no, we asked for 99, they were gonna give us, I think, 60,000 to start it up.
So they haven't had time to do this Pine Innovative Center thing, they haven't had time to research that yet. You almost got it.
And there's a new president at Southeast Tech, however, she comes from a community college in western Iowa that had an incubator attached to it. So she's familiar with the concept. So I think that's in our favor. I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk with her yet. We've got calls into her and to her staff. They've just been saying, let her get the first semester, under her wings here, and then we'll have that conversation.